Committee. This is episode 6, The Origins of Junior Farmers. In 1915, between January 25th and February 20th, the first short course in Waterloo was held for farmers' sons in Elmira. We're not exactly certain where in Elmira the short course was held, but the most educated guess is that it was held here at the town library. Unfortunately, in May 1915, there was a fire at the library, and it is possible that records were moved, lost, or destroyed. This short course was significant. Not only was it the first short course in Waterloo, it also started the first Junior Farmer Club in Waterloo. Also, it was a chance for the agricultural extension to work up in northern Waterloo County, as there had been resistance met before.
Before we begin, let's get some questions answered about junior farmers.
In 1907, the concept of agricultural extension was an idea that the Deputy Minister of Agriculture had, and he tested it, tried it, experimental basis in 6 counties in Ontario, hired a young graduate from the Ontario Agricultural College in Guelph, hired 6 of them, 1 for each of 6 counties, and that person set up an office in the county. Most of them, to start with, were looking at being part of the school system, and so their offices was probably somehow associated with the local high school. In 1909, the agricultural or district representatives, as they were called then, later agricultural representatives, came to realize that probably the easiest way to get to influence farmers was through their kids. And so one of the projects that started in 1909 was a school fair program, and kids in the rural schools, public schools, were provided with some seed, vegetable seeds probably, and some good seeds in the spring. They were to look after them during the summer, and then in the fall, after they came back to school, there would be a fair, and they were to bring some samples of what they had produced from those seeds to the fair. School fairs continued for many years. Officially they ended, I'm not sure when, 1930s or 40s, somewhere in there. But in some counties they carried on way on into the 1960s. In 1914, early 1914, the 4 ag reps went a step further in conducting short courses in agriculture for young farmers, and that was male farmers in those days. The short courses lasted for several weeks in the winter time at a local hall or place where it was a good room, warm enough, and so forth, and was effective. My understanding is they were daytime sessions, so the young lads could be home for chores in the morning and chores at night, and spent the day at the short courses. And yeah, they were about six weeks in length.
Why did they start a short course? when the Department of Agriculture first started in 1907, the first six district men were half of the time in the secondary school, and then half as assistant rep. They in becoming established, they found it was easy to work with young people, and maybe the farmers that didn't want to have anything to do with something new themselves, they would go to all ends to do something that that would help their children. And so they started the school fairs and the short courses.
At the end of the short course, the guys that had participated thought that it was such a great idea having this short course. They became friends with each other. They thought they would like to continue to have some kind of contact, educational contact as well as social contact. And so junior farmer improvement clubs became the norm after the short course on an experimental basis for the first year or two, and were so successful very quickly that concept of short courses and then into a junior farmer club was so successful that it was copied across many of the counties in Ontario. And by that point in time, 1915, in there, many of the counties in Ontario already had an agricultural representative working for the ministry, but working with the local farmers in the community, and developing farm organizations for farmers, and as well as the junior farmers. Things like weed identification, disease identification, insect identification, and like how can you do things with those, with knowing what the weeds were and how they grow, how they act, helps you control them. Understanding soil would probably be an important part of the course. Like soil isn't just dirt that's there. You've got 6 inches of topsoil, and then subsoil and so forth. Like there's soil is a very live commodity, full of life that we don't recognize just by looking at a handful of dirt or soil.
Well, the short courses they started around 1912. 1912 or 13. At that time, in Peel County, as an example, they had about the course in Peel that year started January and run through, and they had about 30 young people, farm young people, from every township in the county. In 1913, the assistant, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, C.F. Bailey, was very, very, very happy about the success of these short courses that had been held in several counties in Ontario. And he said that this would be a shame to get these young people and bring them together for a month and get them all geared up and so on, and then let them drift. And so he made the recommendation that for the short courses from then on, that the person in charge should form a junior farmer improvement association, and that was in 1913, and so in 1914, there were four counties that formed junior farmer improvement associations. Some of them might have just be, for 1 year. I know that in Peel County they continued on for succeeding years.
Waterloo was an important county as it had a growing population and was attracting and developing many industries. The Grand and Speed Rivers were important sites of transporting goods, and the land was of good agricultural fertility. The town of Galt was overtaken in importance by Berlin in the early 20th century, and other towns and villages such as Waterloo, Elmira, and Preston were increasing their manufacturing capabilities. This attracted larger populations and increased the need for innovation in food, housing, and consumable goods. Waterloo was one of the original 6 counties in 1907 to receive a district representative who were graduates of a special class at the Ontario Agricultural College. Frank Hart met resistance from the German populations and set his office in Galt in the southern area of the county in Scottish settlements. Hart found difficulty getting interest in improving agriculture, and with his creativity, he started the first school fair in North Dumfries Township at Riverside School in 1909. The school fairs were so successful that they quickly spread to the rest of the school districts in the county and became policy of the Government of Ontario in 1912 for all counties to have until 1940. This can be considered the birth of the rural youth development movement in Ontario. In 1914, Waterloo also became the first county to purchase a motor car for its district representative. County Council approved a request for funding after a speech by Hart. This became more useful in visiting farmers than a bicycle. Stanley Knapp took over as district representative in June 1914 after graduating at the Ontario Agricultural College. Knapp had served previously as an assistant. During a meeting with the North Waterloo Farmers Institute in September, Knapp was told that they would find enough boys for a month's course in agriculture to be able to have it located in Elmira. J.H. Woods, the Institute's president and a Woolwich Township councillor, did a lot to advertise it. Elmira was the municipal center of Woolwich Township, was surrounded by a strong agricultural community, and was growing as a manufacturing center. An average of 32 farmers' sons attended in the morning and 42 in the afternoon for the course. As the train from Galt did not arrive until 10 o'clock, Woods ran the course until Knapp could arrive. The class formed an executive who organized livestock judging trips to neighboring farms and in-class debates. 2 afternoons a week were spent on livestock judging, and the other 3 on studying weed seeds and judging grain. In the final week of the course, the class went to Toronto and visited the provincial parliament buildings, the union stockyards, and meat processing plants. On the final day of the course, a Junior Farmers Improvement Association was formed in the afternoon, and a banquet was held at the Maple Leaf Club Room in the evening. The first event of the club was a social on Elora on June 5th of that year. Speeches and music were performed at the Elora Town Hall before the group headed to the Elora Rocks. Here they held a picnic and several agricultural-themed sporting competitions. The club also prepared a team for the inter-county judging competition later that year at the Winter Fair and encourages members to partake in acre profit competitions and the hog feeding competition.
The second short course in agriculture occurred at the Old City Hall Council Chambers, which was at the corner of Frederick and King in Kitchener. This short course also led to Junior Farmers Club.
One of the few pieces of history found about the 1916 months course in agriculture is a photo of the class that formed the next Junior Farmers Improvement Association. Knapp can be seen near the middle of the second row.
In 1917, the third annual short course in agriculture in Waterloo was held here at the Ayr Public Library in its basement. From January 8th to February 2nd, the course went on. At the end of the course, a banquet was held at Reed's Hall and a Junior Farmers Improvement Association was formed.
Because of Ayr's location, there was a mixture of Waterloo, Brant, and Oxford County farmers' sons at the course. Debates were held every Friday. For some friendly competition, the Ayr class played a hockey game and had a debate with the students of the month's course in agriculture that was happening in Drumbo. Other courses in agriculture were held in Preston in 1918, Galt in 1919, New Hamburg in 1920, and Linwood in 1921. Each of these classes formed into a Junior Farmers Improvement Association. In 1918 or 1919, the first course for girls started being offered. Most girls attended the meetings of the junior farmer clubs, but in 1926 the first Junior Institute Club was formed in Roseville.
Thank you for watching episode 6 of The Origins of Junior Farmers. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've been educated. And if you like this, you can watch the rest of the series. Maybe you'll understand more about the importance of junior farmers in Ontario.